everybody, it's the Van Show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And today we've got a very special guest, Miss Samantha M. Clark. Say hello.
Hello.
Samantha, so happy to have you on the show.
I'm so happy to be here. I love your show, Van.
Aw, you're just saying that.
I'm not. It's a great show.
Well, I'll keep the flattery coming. Now, Samantha, hold on. I never asked, what does the M stand for again?
Well, I don't know. Some days it kind of changes by, whatever the day is like. Some days it could be muddy, some days it could be morose, some days it could be mysterious.
Oh, so wait a minute. You have an adjective middle name?
Sometimes.
A malleable adjective middle name.
Sometimes, yes.
Very cool.
I think it could be whatever I want it to be whenever I want.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know what? Hold on a second. Now, what's my middle initial?
What is your middle initial?
I guess, I don't have it. I can make up my own middle initial.
You can.
I'm going to be
Van. Maybe A.
A Monster.
There you go.
Whoa, there you go. I like that. Van A Monster.
There we go. Nice.
Today, the A stands for awesomely excited to talk to Samantha Parker.
Exactly. Yay.
now, Samantha, tell us a little bit. Where are you from?
I live in Austin, Texas right now, but I've moved around a lot when I was a kid. I was born in Guyana, which is at the top of South America, this small country there. And a big part of the Guyana is the Amazon rainforest, and I love the Amazon rainforest. And I went into the Amazon when I was 10. I really loved it.
Samantha, we want to talk about you, and specifically the fact that you're a writer.
That's right.
So tell us, how long ago did you start writing?
Well, I always wrote, even when I was a kid. I loved writing. And I used to write plays for my cousins and get my cousins to do the plays. But they didn't always do what I wanted them to do, so I ended up doing them with puppets. They were a lot easier to direct. But the plays were fun to write, and then I even wrote a newspaper for our neighborhood. And I used to write things like, which lawns the dogs pooped on, all the most important things that you need to know in the neighborhood, right?
Hard hitting.
Yeah. So I had that. And then when I was growing up, though, I never thought that I could be an author. I loved reading books, but I never thought that I could be an author.
And can you tell why was that? What was it that you said that you saw as a barrier?
I never met one. I never thought that it was a real thing that I could do. Because I had, was born in Guyana, and then we moved to England. But then when I was 10, we moved to the Caribbean. I lived in Jamaica, and then I lived in the Cayman Islands. I never met an author. I used to always think that the names on books were like magical people who lived in a cloud or something when I was a kid.
I mean, and then you became an author and realized that was right.
Right, exactly. That's right. I like you, Van. Thank you. But when I went to college, one of my professors, I was actually doing a degree in journalism, and I had wanted to go into acting and theater and playwriting. And I had, I was in journalism instead, because that seemed like it was maybe a better career. And one of my professors was also an author. He writes sci-fi. And I was hooked. At that point, I was like, wow, maybe I can actually do that. So I started writing my first book when I was in college. And then I got my degree, and I had a long career in journalism. But I kept writing, and I kept working on my own fiction. And this is really what I want to do, and where I find the most fun.
So tell us a little bit more about the art therapy project.
Oh, I love that. So for my my debut novel, The Boy, the Boat, and the Beast, a lot of it is about fear and childhood fear. And I had a lot of fear when I was a kid. And in the book, the boy has, he's by himself for the most of the book, but he does have this one thing. He has this voice in his head that's telling him bad things. Telling him that he's going to fail, that nobody cares about him, that nobody loves him, that he's stupid. And when I was growing up, I always had that voice in my head. Even as an adult, I still had that voice in my head. When I was writing that book, that voice in my head constantly told me that nobody cared about my writing, that nobody would care about the book, that it would never get published. But it wasn't true, because Simon & Schuster published the book back in. So it wasn't true. But that voice in your head can really stop you from doing the things that you want to do, and it can stop you from believing in yourself. So a lot of the book is about that. And when I finished writing it, I wanted to work with, I contacted a therapist, Bonnie, and I'm blanking on her last name, but it's written on the project. And we came up with the Make Your Own Courage Art Therapy Project. And within it, there are all these exercises that she came up with that they use the book, but you can use them without reading the book too. And they help kids. They help kids with their own anxiety. So there's two sets. There's one for clinicians that clinicians can use, that because she found that she wanted to use the book with her clients. So there's one for clinicians, and then there's also one that parents and caregivers, teachers, librarians, that they can use, which don't delve quite as deep into fears, but can still help kids a lot with anxiety. Yes.
Now, can we talk about the new book?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, let's dive in. So tell us all about it.
So Arrow is my new book, and it also came out from Simon & Schuster just last year during the pandemic. And this is another book that's very dear to my heart because it's set in a magically hidden rainforest. It's actually set in a future, which I hope will never happen. A lot of the times, a lot of rainforests around the world are protected by the indigenous people who live there. They understand the trees and they understand the nature, and they protect their rainforest. They've lived there for generations. But a lot of times they get pushed out by governments or by corporations who want to use resources from the rainforest. But the rainforests are so dear to our whole world. So what happened is, in my book, I imagined a world when the indigenous people had been pushed out. So in my book, it's imagined that they've all been pushed out. So the guardian tree of the forest has protected the rainforest by hiding as much of it as they could, using magic from the earth. The only human who has been allowed in was a baby who was abandoned on the outside of the veil, and that's Arrow. And Arrow is the main character in the book. That's Arrow there. And this is Curly, the monkey, Curly is Arrow's best friend.
Oh, there's a monkey in the book.
There's a monkey in the book, that's right. Yes. There's lots of other animals too. There's sloths, and there's lots of other animals. And so what happens is, and it's told, the whole book is told up by the perspective of the guardian tree of the rainforest. And this is the guardian tree on the back. In the book, Arrow is the only human, but the magic is starting to deteriorate. So the veil is starting to tear up and break, and people from the dry, arid, harsh outside world have found the rainforest, and they're infiltrating it. Arrow has to kind of make a decision whether he wants to be liked and accepted by these humans, the first humans of his kind that he's ever seen, the first people of his kind he's ever seen, or rescue his forest.
Would you like to play a game with me?
I'd love to play a game.
Okay, all right. So the game we're going to play today is Truth or Dare.
Uh-oh.
So which would you choose, truth or dare?
I don't know. I think Van A. Monster could come up with some pretty scary dares. Maybe we could go with truth?
Yeah, we could totally go with truth.
All right.
I can also come up with some very scary truths.
Oh, that sounds scary.
For your truth, I will ask you this question.
Okay.
Have you ever stolen anything?
Well, so stealing isn't a good thing to do.
Fair enough.
It's really not. But the truth is, I did steal something once. When I was really little, I stole a candy. There was this is when we were living in England, and there was this newsstand at the end of our road, and we used to go in there all the time. I used to get comics and candies, and one time I went in, I was really small, and I didn't have much money, and there was this little kind of boiled candy that looked really good, and I put it in my pocket and I ran out.
Well, and then you ate it, and then you had a great rest of your life.
No, I didn't even get to eat it because I felt too guilty. I went and took it back. But then I didn't even tell them. I just went back in and I kind of snuck it back onto the display. I didn't tell them.
So,
I felt very guilty.
Did you feel guilty after you returned it?
I kind of did, yeah. It stayed with me. I mean, I still remember it now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And did that help you not steal again?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Awesome.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been awesome.
Thank you, Van.
I'm always
had a
happy to talk
blast.
to you.
Yes, me too. I love it.
Goodbye!